Welcome to Backbreaking News episode 156. Today we react to Backbreaking News episode 17.
Backbreaking News episode 17. Today I'll be talking about. What
I'm picking my nose.
What type of video games would I make if I was a company? Now, first of all, let me explain one thing first here. This is kind of explaining what I would do, not if I'm actually going to do it. So, the first thing is, for the first and most important game, it would be like a roam around the world game, like,
free
it
roam.
would be about...
But it's called a free roaming game. Popular examples of this are currently NBA games, because you could go free world around them, so I'm going to use that.
For time periods, it would go to ancient Egypt all the way to 2020, and you get to play characters based on those times, and then you could roam freely, do whatever you want, and it would be a pretty fun game. And I think that if someone was to make a history game like that...
The problem is that would take years and even months to complete, and it would be... The question is, would it be worth the risk to get that done? It probably wouldn't.
It would be pretty fun, so why not I make it if I did in this fictional thing I'm creating with that game console I talked about a couple episodes about. It would be pretty interesting. I would also make a second free roaming game, but this time about not as much as music, but as just like its own world. It would be based on the state of Oregon, and it would be based on the time period through the 90s. It would be 90s themed too, but you understand what I'm talking about.
90 themes Oregon. That sounds like the most boring game ever. The Oregon Trail was fun because it was set in Oregon and everyone was dying of dysentery.
And it could go through around Oregon and fictional parts of it and some real parts of it, and it would be great time. So I also think the next game, if I was the game company I would release, is probably like I would think a strategy game, because I like to think theoretical. I would like to, maybe not something that difficult, but maybe like
a strategy game I would create would be probably something to do with wrestling, because that would be something I would be interested in, and perhaps, more like a manager role,
a game like, for example, like a WWE Champions, I think it is a strategy game. Come up with something fun like a Nickelodeon's Fire game like that. I would definitely make that, because not only would it be a popular idea with Nickelodeon characters, but
little did I know this actually existed way before I predicted. And that's what goes to show, if you don't do any research for your own videos, they're going to some facts are gonna already exist.
Actually be a pretty interesting game to play, and it keeps your mind focused. Next is I'm gonna call brain teasers. I want something challenging, and you have to. That's gonna be a point and click game, but it's gonna be based on wrestling, and
that would actually be very interesting. I would play it, but I don't know how to create games. So if someone were to make it, it would probably be a very fun game to play, and they should.
Board games and movies, and you have to think very smartly with it. It would be like a puzzler or point and click, where you have to think where it is, and you have to find it. I call those types of games like mind games. You have to think with your mind, not just click the first thing that comes to mind. It would be very difficult, and it will have a lot of levels. It would have about 1,000.
1,000 levels, that would take years to make. I'm not thinking realistic here. I was a child. I was 14. 14, yeah.
8 for the first one, and then 100 for the second one, and that would be the end of the game. These are pretty. They don't take very long, but they are very difficult. So then, if I was going based on my first one, I would love to make, like a game like not Candyland. I mean Candy Crush, but it would be called Cookie Crusher, because it would be different types of cookies you have to match up together.
Yeah, they probably already have that. I actually think they do. They have that, but I think it's with cakes, not cookies. I could be wrong, but I haven't. Candy Crush hasn't been popular since. Oh wow, 2010. I'm old.
You would think that I would choose anything else but that, but that's the first thing I would choose. It's really not up to me. It's really up to me what I think that should fit, and then I would try to go for like a building type of game like Minecraft, but I want it to be like a totally different game. And I think the best way to do that is make it with like a popular gaming company like Nintendo. It could feature, you could build your own Nintendo levels, you could enter a contest to design a real game that could be made with your own fictional characters you could design. I think a Nintendo, like Minecraft and it's a popular game.
Theoretically, this would be a good idea, but the effort that it would take to do this, it would take at least maybe 5-6 years before this game would be released. And then if it fails, the risk is not worth the reward. As I said this many times, the risk is not worth the reward. If many people buy the game and get upset with it, they're going to tell people not to buy it. And if people buy it, it will be the most expensive failure in Nintendo history.
It's called Dream. It's not the YouTuber, but Dream, like the game where you could design your own game. But this time it will be a contest for Nintendo to actually make it happen, and you have the option to make it 2-bit, or 8-bit, which was popular in the 80s,
So Super Mario
because
Brothers
that has been getting back in style now. And that's another thing I would like to make, an 8-bit game, like you would get at an arcade or play in an arcade. But I want to do it something. I would want it to be based on.
I'm eating ice.
I would want it to be based on wrestling, and the whole point of it is to win matches. There will be win matches and and there will be at the end of the level you will face the major champion for each league. There will be,
so basically just Super Punch Out, but with wrestling, or like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but for the 2000s. So you could put like Roman Reigns or any champion really.
155 levels in the first set of levels, and it gets higher every time, and the last round of levels will be round 5, which would have 900 levels, and each match has its own match type stipulation, something interesting to make the game more playable.
I said 900 levels.
These
I'm
are hard.
crazy.
You have 3 difficulties: easy, medium, and hard. But then we would also have another level called extreme toughness, and then we would also have very easy. I said there would only be 4. I meant 5, because it makes more sense to have 5 for people who want to be really challenged, and for people who want to be do very easy things. Next thing,
I mean, that's a good idea, but
next game I would love to release would probably be a singing game that you could play on the phone. Like to win the level, you have to sing against other players, and you have to kind of sing, and then other players will be the judge who sings better. It would kind of be like
That would be like The Voice, but if it was like during COVID. Like they had to do it on the screen instead of going out in person. They did. It would be called The Voice COVID Edition.
a contest on the phone, and you could play tournaments, you could play single rounds, and the more wins you get, the harder the opponent gets. You know, like it's gonna be real people, and for people who barely lose it, it's gonna be tougher and tougher and tougher every time. We'll find someone with your level skill, and it will be a whole fun game, I think. The other thing I would really like to do is make a game based on a board game that might have not been chosen. Aggravation, the board game.
No,
Aggravation.
that would be boring.
For the PlayStation
That
4
would
or
be
something like that.
boring.
I think it's an easy classic game, and it should be made into a game console or phone game. I would also think that the next game I would make would be like I'm going to say it's going to be like you have to make your own lunch. You have to make your own cafeteria at school, and you have to.
So basically, just like a cafeteria simulator or Tycoon, if you're a Roblox fan, but yeah, essentially, yeah.
As you keep improving on it, but it's going to be like you could build a school. You have options to build a hospital.
So basically, like a city builder, like The Sims, like SimCity. Yeah.
A veterinarian clinic, or you could also build a prison. Not just that, you could also build your own mall. You could build your own aquarium and zoo. And you get to pick which one you get designed, and you can save each one of them in their own.
That would be cool in essence, where you get to design everything and manage everything yourself, but the time of effort wouldn't be worth the risk of it succeeding, you know. I said that plenty of times. This is where I think I'm going to end it. Bye!